we're going to start recording. We'll just make this an informative session. Thank you so much for joining, Jalen. And for those folks who are going to be watching this video, make sure that if your schedule permits that you join us on 11:30 in the morning. So that's 11:30 on Thursdays. Almost forgot what your day was. 11:30 on Thursdays. So in the middle of your page right here, you'll find your syllabus information and all that good stuff. So everybody should be right here in week 2. So make sure that you're getting your stuff done, and I can see that you're active, and that also counts you present for that week. So you want to make sure that you are getting your work done. Somebody came in. Oh, that's you, Jalen. Okay. Jalen, I'm gonna mute your microphone real quick. All right. And you want to make sure that you're doing your discussion post. Your discussion post is right here, the weekly question, and make sure that you answer that. It is going to be the section that says questioning the media number 3. That's in chapter 1. Make sure that you answer that one in at least one full paragraph. Make sure that you have at least 5 to 6 sentences. Okay. Now, what I want to just go through today is just a simple, and that's all that's going to be due for this week. Just want to go through just a simple overview of chapter 1. And we're going to talk about mass communication just in a broad sense. And so, Jalen, since you're on with me right now, when you think about the word mass communication, what do you think about?
Mass communication, I really just think about a form of communication that you're trying to get across depending on what platform.
Very good. So he said a form of communication you're trying to get across. It could be different platforms. So mass communication, mass among to the masses. So that's going to be not just a one person, but you putting out a message to get to a large group of people. Thousands, maybe millions, billions of people are watching you, are tuning into something. They're listening to something. So mass communication is so big. And a lot of students, when they hear mass comm, all they think about is TV. And I want you to just kind of get out of that mindset. Mass comm or media is so much more than TV. Okay, so we have so many different things in that area. And so we're just going to do a little discussion this morning. Jalen, I know it's just you on right now, and I know some others might be coming on. But the media plays a key role in our lives. We can't get away from the media. So when I say media, mass comm, I'm meaning the same thing. And if we go back 4 years, yeah, that's 2020. Yeah, if we go back 4 years to the last presidential election, and even with this presidential, the media and mass communication plays a big role. Where would we be if we didn't have TV networks, if we didn't have cable, if we didn't have social media, if we didn't have newspapers, all that stuff informing us on, oh my goodness, what's going on, what's happening, and so forth. So if you go back 4 years ago, I thought this was interesting about how Trump gained during the presidential race because of what? Because of the media. He stayed in the media's attention. And, you know, looking back to the 2016 election, a lot of people said maybe the media was to blame because they put a lot of attention on him. I don't know. That's a whole nother conversation. That's a whole conversation in itself, right? But a lot of criticism was that maybe Trump received a lot of free airtime from TV, from cable networks, because they kept talking about him. And well, we see what happened. And even now with the 2020 election going on, people are voting and they're getting out there, and media is playing a big role in pushing different messages out there and letting us know what's going on. So things have changed over time. And then when we talk about communication, communication is just sending a message, but it has changed and it has evolved over time. Our culture has changed. Um,
Miss Boyd, for some reason the screen is just plain white. We see it weekly too.
oh, hold up. Let's see. Thank you. Can you see it now?
I'm waiting right now. Hold on. Yes, I can see it now.
Oh, my bad. Okay, always let me know if you can't see something on the screen. It seems like we've been having some problems. Like when you share something on Microsoft Team, it's like a delay. Okay, so Jalen, can you see culture and evolution of mass communication?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, super. Okay, so anyway, I was just saying that our culture has changed over the years, right? And how our parents communicated, how our grandparents communicated is surely not how we're communicating right now. And think about it. Um, do you think mass communication is going to look like this in maybe 10, 15, 20 years from now?
No, it's not because every day is changing. So I can already imagine how it's gonna be in really the next 5, 10 years.
Exactly, exactly. With this whole pandemic, it has really made us step up our ways of communicating with people. And not that Zoom or Microsoft Teams was new, right? Because we were still using them before then. But now, I mean, my family, they get together, we get together over Zoom and all of that. We weren't doing that before. I mean, who would have thought 20 years ago that I would be talking to my mom, talking to my cousins in another state over Zoom? You know, we didn't have that 10 years ago. So things have changed because the culture has changed. Okay, Jalen, could you see the new slide?
Yes, man. Everything working fine now.
Okay. So we moved from, look at this, how we moved in communication. We moved from oral communication. That's what we say like caveman. That's what they were using. Just they would just talk. Or I wouldn't say caveman. I take it back from there. Maybe after cave people. Written communication, let's say back in the day when World War and a soldier, all what he had was just to write a letter back home, and they treasured those letters. Nobody could use a phone and call home. Printed communication, those were like books. And then books started to be widespread in publication, and everybody started writing books and things. Electronic communication you saw came in like in the 60s, 50s, and 60s as the television became more popular. And then into the 70s and 80s, you start to see digital communication coming in, and it gets to become more refined with computers and social media and things like that. So we're just going to do a little discussion of what we mean by the digital era. And Jalen, I'm sure you, like me, have social media accounts, right? So digital
Yes, ma'am.
communication, yeah, digital communication really helps us with social media like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. What else we have? Instagram, TikTok. Um,
Twitter, Facebook. That's really the main Instagram. I mean, social medias right now.
and Instagram, right? Yeah, that's the main social media, and it allows people to have a conversation, right? Even with like Twitter or Facebook, you can have more of a conversation. With Instagram, you might be showing a video, you might be talking about a problem, or you might be posting your pictures, but it still allows people to communicate about something. Um, Email has a lot of good functions. I don't know anybody without an email now. Even old people have emails. It's necessary. So all of those things are relevant to digital communication. And so let's let's go here, and I want to talk a little bit more about this word gatekeeper. So with mass communication, it's a lot of people that are involved. It's a lot of different avenues that are involved. So you have the senders. Somebody's got to send the information out. So that could be the author of a book, that could be the producer of a TV program, a radio show, a podcast. Then you have a message that they're putting out. And so maybe this podcast is about politics or whatever. Then that mass media channel, it's got to, okay, so you say, okay, how am I going to get my message out? Am I going to get it out through YouTube? Am I going to get it out through TV? Am I going to get it out through radio? So that's the way that you get it out when we talk about the channel. But the people we need the most are the receivers. And those are the people that are watching the show or they're listening to your show. And I say show, don't have, or they read your article, something like that. And then let's talk about this whole thing of gatekeepers and then feedback. Okay, so the gatekeepers are the people that are working behind the scenes. And they have the power, the gatekeepers have the power to release information or to hold it back. Okay, so there's a lot of information out there that we really don't know, or just because something comes out, it was because somebody let the gate out. Let me give you an example. Jalen, you've been watching the news, and a couple of weeks ago, there's so much stuff happening in the news, it's crazy. But a couple of weeks ago, they were talking about President Trump's taxes, and that he didn't pay certain amount of taxes or whatever. So you heard about that?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
And the gatekeepers, okay, so think about it like this. Somebody had that information, right? And they had been researching this, and then all of a sudden we saw it on TV. But somebody had the power to let that information out. That's what we call a gatekeeper. Gatekeeper.
So basically, if I'm my bad interrupting you. So it's like all right. Do you watch? Have you ever seen the show The Shy?
No, I haven't seen, but I heard a lot about it. Keep going.
Well, it's basically in the new season they're basically doing like a lot of politics right now.
Right.
And one of the mayors, one of the mayors that was running for, I mean, one of the contestants that wanted for mayor, one of his partners gave an envelope to his opponent. So, and she basically had the right way, I mean, the right to basically give it out or not. So basically, she was like a gatekeeper.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing. Now, if she leaked it or sent it to the media, she had control of that message. And then when it gets to the media, right, all the people in the newsroom, they're figuring out, okay, do we let it out now? Do we let it out next week? Are we going to be the first to break this story? Because you know, a lot of these news places, they love to break the story. They want to be the one that breaks it first. Okay. And then another important thing is feedback. So just like you might have a favorite TV show, or something that you listen to on the radio or a podcast or something like that. Have you ever sent in a message and say, oh, I love this show, or oh, I didn't like what you did with that?
Um, Not really. I never did that before.
Yeah. haven't really done that either. But now, if we did, that would be an example of feedback. Or, um, okay, here's another one too. Here's another example. Let's say your favorite artist, whoever, and they come out with some new music, and even on Instagram or whatever, we're talking about the new music or whatever and how we like it and all of that. That's an example of feedback too.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. Uh-oh, sorry about that. And people, okay, think about like a Tyler Perry. You watch any of his stuff?
Yes, ma'am.
Tyler Perry, a couple of months ago, and I should be ashamed. Tyler Perry came out with this movie. Oh, forgot the name of the movie, but it was so good. Isn't that a shame? Oh, it was on Netflix. And I thought the movie was excellent. I loved the movie. But you know what? That's gonna make me mad, Jalen. Let me look it up right now. But somebody watching this is gonna be saying, I know what it is. It was on Netflix. Fall from Grace. That's what it is. Fall from Grace. And Tyler Perry did this movie, Fall from Grace, and I thought it was excellent. I loved it. It had a little cliffhanger in it. Felicia Rashad was in it. He did really good. But some people got on Twitter, Instagram, and everything and ripped him alive and said that they didn't like it because it was predictable. Let me see if I can find it. And okay, hold on. I'm coming back to you, Jalen. So here's an example of what I mean by feedback. Um, Let me know if you can see my screen. It should say BuzzFeed News.
Yeah, I can.
Okay. So this is an example of feedback. Look at look at the title. Black people deserve better than Tyler Perry's latest movie. Tyler Perry's terrible new Netflix movie, A Fall from Grace, makes it clear that it's time he start collaborating with artists who actually has something to say. I did not agree. I thought it was an excellent movie. But anyway, but this is just an example of feedback. And you can just read the article, but they gave Tyler Perry the run through with this and saying that their feedback was that they didn't enjoy the movie. Okay. And
Go ahead.
I think they need to listen to it, but at the same time, everybody got an opinion. Go ahead, Jalen.
Yeah, I know. I seen some feedback about Tyler Perry. He did like the soap opera with the Oval. I think that was called.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I seen some feedback about that before.
Was it good? It probably wasn't.
It was interesting. Let me just say that it was interesting.
It was interesting. Yeah, I don't watch that one. My mom watches it, but she said wasn't keeping her attention. Okay. All right, so let's talk a little bit more about our culture and how we interact with mass communication. So, kind of just what we were talking about with Tyler Perry and everything. Everybody has their own opinion. Everybody mass communication recognizes that everybody has a different meaning to what they want to see, different messages, and so audiences will affirm, they'll interpret, they might reject the message. Everybody's not going to see the message the same way. So this particular word right here in blue, selective exposure. Everybody looks for a message that they like. Everybody goes to a channel that they like. So for example, selective exposure for me, okay, for me, I like history thing. Well, not all history. I don't like all history. I like African American history. I was watching something the other night on PBS about blacks in the early 1900s, how they started to get cars and how they started to travel and things like that. And I like things like that. I like stories. I like Lifetime, so those are the things that I go to, because that's the stuff that I like, selective exposure. And so every person is not going to use the mass media the same way. So somebody that likes, like my husband likes sports, he's going to have the sports channel on or HGTV. That's about the only thing he's going to watch, because that's his selective exposure. Those are the things that he likes to watch. So in
Delay
terms
on
of,
the screen.
Mhm.
It's back fixed now. It just delayed real quick.
Okay, can you see it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Jalen, what is your selective exposure? Like, what do you like to watch or listen to?
I know it sounds so typical, but basically about sports and really black cinemas, like anything. But also, well, I can say different, like Egyptian. Like it has something with Egyptian stuff, history. I'm gonna be interested in it.
Good. So that's your selective exposure. Everybody's going to come for what they like or what they believe in. Um, for example, we see it every day with the news. Okay, so we have different news outlets. You got your Fox and your CNN. So if somebody's more conservative, they're going to go to the Fox. That's fine. If they're, more liberal, democratic or whatever, they're going to go to the CNN type of thing, because they want to choose the thing that best fit what they believe in, and that's all right for people. That's why we have so many different things to choose from in this society that we live in. Okay. And just like, I'm not sure if you listen to podcasts. I've just been kind of getting into podcasts and things, and we're gonna end right here. But podcasts are very individualistic. So you could listen to something about children. There are podcasts on education, podcasts on lifestyles, on marriage, on just everything, religion, black women, black men. So so what people would do in selective exposure is they're going to pick the podcast that they like the most. I'm not going to pick a podcast that talks about something that I don't like. Okay. Or like, if it's your favorite team, I'm sure your team has its own podcast. That team, whether it's football or baseball or whatever, they have their own thing, and you're going to go and listen to that. Okay. And so, yeah, you got a favorite team?
I'd rather not say that. I do have a favorite team, but I'd rather not say it right now.
Are they losing?
They're dead right now. They're not losing. They're dead.
Okay. Well, hopefully they'll resurrect.
Yeah,
They'll
because
resurrect
you got a new
one day
coach. So
when they get a new coach.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I'm from Baltimore, so I'm a diehard Ravens fan. So I hope they stick with it and keep going, keep doing good. Media, and this word convergence. See that C word up there, convergence. And that means how media has changed over the years. And media changes because the culture has changed. And so, Jalen, let's talk right here about how we consume media. So years ago, oh boy, I can even remember when like VCRs came out, right? And we're going to talk about different technology and stuff, right? But how do we watch TV nowadays?
um, on the phones, on the computers, on tablets.
Mm-hmm. People are actually like cutting off their cable, and instead of paying all that ridiculous amount of money and just watching Netflix, just watching
Yep,
Hulu.
I
Um,
am one.
you see, I'm at the Roku TV right now, and places like Xfinity and stuff, and what's the one, the Dish, they got to run for their money because people are tired of all of that. Yes. So we even watch TV differently now. We don't necessarily have to be at home. I remember, back in the I feel old. Back like in the 80s when like the Cosby Show first came on. And it came on Thursdays at 8 o'clock. And you would drop whatever you were doing. You would make sure that you were home. You had your bath and everything, and you were in front of the TV a couple minutes before 8 o'clock because you wanted to catch the whole thing, you know. But now, if I miss my show, I don't care because I can go back and watch it on demand or catch the whole season. Sometimes we do this, right? Catch the whole season. And if I get a good Saturday and I don't have nothing to do, I can binge the whole thing and I'm just hooked. um, a lot of times we find out about shows because of social media. There were many times my friends would share a show and they say, "Oh my goodness, you got to watch this." I love Netflix, and I'm not sure if you've seen it, Jalen. There's a couple of shows that I really, really like, but there's one with Regina King. It's called 7 Seconds. That was phenomenal. And there's another one, American Son, with Kerry Washington. That was phenomenal. So a lot of things we find out by social media or friends tell us, and we make our choice to watch it. Another thing that's really cool with our culture that changes is that we interact with social media and watching the show. So sometimes you see like different shows, they'll do like a live tweet at the same time. Some of the actors or actresses, they might live tweet, or just among friends, we might be on Facebook all talking about the show at the same time as we're watching it. It sounds crazy, doesn't it? But but it's just another way for us to engage with friends. Um, and we're talking about the show as we're watching it on our own TVs or whatever at the same time.
Yeah, that's why I really like. If I know I'm gonna miss a show, I rather
Mhm.
not. I won't get on social media until after I watch the show.
That's true. That's true, because it'll give it away, won't it?
Majorly.
Have you seen Antebellum yet?
No, I haven't.
Okay. So I'm not gonna give it away because that's another one. Somebody gave it away on my social media, and I was like, okay, I gotta go watch this because y'all talking about it too much. So things like that, Antebellum. Um, Hot. There's another movie. Um, hey Shamara. There's another movie that's out that's really good. Oh, and I just had it on my phone. What else is hot on Netflix? There was a movie with Taraji P. Henson, and I forget the name of it, but I heard it was pretty good. Yeah, okay. Jalen, you must have seen that one. So that must have been pretty good. But anyway, so we're gonna pause right here, but that just tells us that we the mass media is so much a part of our lives, we cannot escape it. There's so many different ways that culture has changed with mass communication. Even with radio, let me just pause right here on this and you guys can chime in and talk. How do you listen to your music now? Do you turn on an actual radio?
No.
Mm-mm.
Only time I ever turn the radio if I know me personally, I know I'm gonna hear either something with my name on it on the radio, or I know somebody that's gonna be on the radio. Other than that, I ain't listening to no radio. I ain't. Soon I cut on my phone, I already know straight to my music.
Right. So you have your own music. We can upload our music to, to our devices. We, it's funny because I have a radio in the house, and I was like, I might as well just get rid of this. And it's just been kind of sitting here because I don't even really use it. I listen to my music on my phone. When I get in the car, I do listen to the radio sometimes. And when I talk about radio, I'm talking about the station, like an Atlanta station. I listen to it sometimes, but most of the time it's satellite radio or your own music that you want to hear. Or look, or I'm back on my phone again, streaming from my phone. But years ago, let's say about 20 years ago, we didn't have that. If we wanted music, you had to use the radio or a CD or a tape. Oh my Lord. Those type of things. Okay. Or if we went all the way back, imagine this going all the way back, maybe to like the 1920s and things. If you wanted music, it might have been live music and not necessarily recorded on the radio. So anyway, so this just shows us how mass communication has changed with culture over the years. And as we get into, you guys can go back over that chapter 1 PowerPoint. Look at how the media is playing a part in this 2020 election, in COVID-19. Oh my Lord, what else has happened this year? All the deaths that we have had, but especially with the pandemic and finding out are the numbers going up and down and all of that. How are we getting it? Through the media, through mass communication, through newspapers, news outlets, all of that. We need all of that in order for us to stay informed. We would be real messed up if this was, let's say 1920, right? And we didn't have all of this stuff, and we trying to figure out what's going on. Why is everybody getting sick? Why are these people passing away? And nobody can tell us, or we're just hearing from word of mouth. Wouldn't that be awful? Okay. All right, good people. Any questions?
No, ma'am.
Thanks for joining. Thank you, Jalen and Miss Ransom. I'm gonna say am I saying your name incorrectly? Shamira? I think she might be on mute. Okay. All right. But anyway, if you don't have any questions, we're going to pause here. Remember, your work is due Sunday night. So we start on Mondays and we end on Sunday nights. So your week starts, your week starts on Mondays and ends on Sundays. So today, what's today's date? Today is October the 15th. I'll see you back again on Thursday, the 22nd. And thank you. And then I do want to let you know on Thursday, the 29th, I won't be able to meet you because I do have an appointment that day. So I won't be able to meet you on the 29th. And then we'll just pick back up again in November the 5th. Okay, good people. Okay, no problem. These computers are crazy. Okay, so I hope you're having a good day.
You too, Miss Bear. You have a good day.
Thank you, Jalen. Thank you, Shamara. I know those computers are crazy. See you next week.
All right, bye-bye.